Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today's guest is Christopher Rismay, CEO of Web Design Plus SEO, a Miami-based online digital agency that specializes in digital marketing. The agency started only offering web design services, but outsourcing their SEO services, as many companies do. But after wasting thousands of dollars and countless time with ineffective overseas companies, Chris decided to add SEO as one of their core services in-house. Now, Web Design Plus SEO helps businesses understand that online marketing is not an expense, but rather an investment in their company's future. The digital era has just begun, and many older generation business owners still fail to grasp the impact it has on the bottom line. Well, Chris, welcome to the show.
I'm very glad to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself and Web Design Plus SEO, and ultimately who it is that you help.
All right. I am based here in Miami, Florida. I'm originally from St. Martin in the Caribbean. I've been doing as Web Design Plus SEO about 5 years. Started in 2012, but I've been doing online web design, online marketing since 2005. I started out doing different websites for myself just because of the need. I started in college and had this need to build a website with some friends of mine. And it just really just picked off. I mean, people liked what I did. I did some graphic design. The overall company just started growing, and eventually kind of just branched out to create, a separate, company just focusing on web design and SEO. Once we learned, as you mentioned in the intro, we learned how to properly, do web optimization and the tricks needed. I mean, there's tons and tons of videos online, and people think that it's easy task. You can just, look up a quick video and you know how to do something. But, if you go places like GoDaddy, you build a website, you get so much business and, build a website and traffic will come. And people fail to realize it's not really that simple. I mean, there's a whole, there's a science to it, people have to, it's not about just throwing this and that. You have to know exactly what does what and what combination of things give you a certain result.
Yeah, it's really about understanding exactly what it is that works. And I know there's definitely foundational principles, but with all the Google algorithm changes, things change over time as well. So talk to me about the kind of clients that you help there then.
I mean, we don't specifically focus on any particular niche. I know some people might focus on dentists, or they might focus on, particular niche. I mean, because we do web design, we don't specifically focus on any type of particular niche. When people do SEO specifically, they tend to focus on particular niches because when it comes to SEO, I guess with some people, they find it easier to get recurring customers because you can get case studies and show, hey, I did this doctor in this particular town, and they focus it on that way. But we like to work more on, we like to do from the ground up. We like to work from your website, start on your website, rebuild it if you don't have one, or take new businesses and help them overall start from the foundation and go up. Most most SEO companies, they really don't even do much web design at all. They might they know how to do the SEO side of it, but any technical problem, speed optimization, any bugs, stuff slowing on the website, those are all things that they might even outsource to different agencies because they don't know how to do it themselves. They can't build a website. And that's one thing that makes us different. And that's why we kind of focus on overall different industries, because we're not focusing on getting a particular type of customer.
Right. Yeah, web design and SEO really go hand in hand, and to try and navigate between two different companies, especially even two different departments within the same company, can sometimes be hard.
Yes.
But if you're trying to outsource to different companies, it might not all be on the same page. So having it within the same company definitely helps. And a lot of web design has got to include best SEO practices. So you really have to know what it is that you're doing on both sides of the fence there. Talk to me about really the problems that your clients have and why they come to you then.
Well, a lot of our customers come to us because one of the common problems with what we see with people is either they are familiar with SEO because they've been burned before. I'm sure you've seen this in your business too, through your website. There's a lot of people overseas, particularly, send you emails all day. They say, hey, your website has this problem, that problem, and we can fix it for $50. Or you've gotten these these phone calls from say, hey, I'm in Google, I'll fix your page is about to be removed, give us a call and we'll fix it. So they get a lot of those. The SEO industry overall has a very bad name. So everyone who tends to come to us, sometimes they're very reserved on what they want, and they always want to see that you're an expert and you know what you're talking about. So one of the things that we like to help people out in the beginning is, if you have a website built already, we'll look at your website and tell you, hey, this is what the problems are, and this is how we can help. It's one thing to show you case studies of, hey, I've got thousands of dollars or whatever it is, but when you can prove to somebody, hey, this is the problem here, this is a problem here, and these are things that Google wants in general. It's just the facts. These are just things you have to do, so all the money you can say, hey, I did this for this customer. At the end of the day, it comes down to the individual customer's individual needs on what, we can do for them and what the problems are. Because I can tell you from website to website, everybody has a different type of issue, whether it's, they have a content problem. They have very little content, because content is one of the biggest things that drive websites these days. Because it's basically, if you think about it, that should have been the beginning core, which is content, because it's really about what's on your website is what I need. If Google doesn't see, you have X amount of things that they can analyze, because that's what it's about data. They want to see you have X amount of different points on your page that tells you this is the most relevant content compared to your competitor. And that's one of the basics that we try to focus on now is content writing. We have a team of content writers that can help you write from any topic, no matter the niche. They'll research it. They'll look at other reference websites, and they'll read all the data they need to get to put a proper article. They combine, look for the best top tips, and we'll do our research and write a professional article, whether it's for your blog, for your homepage, or really whatever it is. We'll focus on that and help it get started.
Do you come across a lot of older sites that have maybe had SEO done on them back in the day? A basic 5-page website with hundreds and thousands of links to them. What do you do when you come across something like that?
Yeah, those are actually the ones we like the best, because for one, it means that definitely in this day and age, they have to definitely upgrade their website and make it more modern. Because one of the things that are also important these days is, one, there's mobile friendly. That's one of Google's top, pet peeves now, is that they want your website to be mobile friendly, meaning that when you go to a website through your phone, it's adjustable. It's not, you have to scroll left and right. Everything gets zoomed in, where it's very well managed, and also it has to be faster. These days it's all about speed, which the older websites may or may not have speed, but the mobile friendliness is definitely a huge factor. And as you mentioned about with the backlinks problem, it is a problem, and it is a problem these days Google has gotten a lot smarter, and they kind of realize what's the junk and what's value. So a lot of the older, links you might have, the 20,000 links that you might have gotten from some cheap Fiverr gig you found online because these guys said, hey, you need a bunch of links and it's going to rank you number one. You got content into it, or you end up with a inexperienced SEO company who just said, yeah, I get a bunch of links, and then you get burned. And I mean, I myself in the beginning went through that type of learning curve where you thought about it's more is better, but maybe about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, that was kind of the way that things went. You could go ahead and spam your website with thousands and thousands of links, and it worked. But it's not really the same thing now. In these days, it's all more about quality. Who links to you, whether it's a crappy site, a good quality site. But Google now, they can sort through those links, and they kind of just devalue the junk. So you can have 20,000 links. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's a huge problem. I mean, depending on the links you have, it may be a problem. If it's a lot of porn sites or Russian sites, I mean, it gets a little bit tricky where sometimes you may have to try and go in and tell Google, hey, devalue these sites. But even that these days, I've heard that it's not even the way to go. Google just knows, and they'll just figure it out on their own, and they'll just, knock out the 20,000 links and keep, be the 100 links that actually, are worthwhile. So it's not always, the best thing to go ahead and worry about it too much. The most important thing is fixing your website, making it modern, doing all the things that you want to have on the website, good content. You want to have proper titles. You want to have some call to actions, which are things like, contact us, or like the first most important thing in your website is what they call the above the fold. That basically it just, they sell you right away that, when I get to your website, I know exactly what it's about. This is the website for me. And people also have a very short attention span. If your website doesn't load within the first 2 to 4 seconds, they leave, which is it's kind of mind-boggling to me how it's gotten where it's like I can't wait 4 seconds to see something that I clicked on, and it's like you clicked on it because you're interested in, but what really is 4, 5, 6 seconds. But I guess between competition, it comes down to people have a very short attention span, and they want to definitely make sure that it's what they want. If I guess they look at it as a sign that your website sucks. People see your website as a representation of who you are, and I guess if it's not as modern or as fast as some of the bigger sites that I guess they used to, they think it as maybe a site isn't working, and it just they leave.
Yeah, there's definitely that perception. I think we live in a microwave society now where we want things instantly, and if we don't get them instantly, we lose that train of thought and concentration, and we move on to something else. So yes, having that site that's loading slowly, or even that comes up and it looks old and you find it difficult to scroll through, really is a turnoff for potential customers now. So the web design, along with the SEO, is extremely important. Talk about the calls to action a little bit more, and above the fold. What kind of things should they have above the fold in order for their clients or prospects to take action right away?
Yeah, so definitely just to recap what above the fold means again, it's just basically what shows initially when you go to the website, which typically might be like a banner at the top of the website. At least that's typically the way that modern websites are. It's like you have this big, what they call a slider, which basically, it kind of just caps in what all your website entails. So you might have a nice catchy graphic or picture. Some people do videos. Videos are good, but sometimes not, depending on how you optimize it, because the video should load right away. If it takes too long, that's another deterrent from people as far as how they, how long it takes. But back to above the fold, basically call to actions are things like, schedule a phone call, or maybe a quote form, fill out a quick, quote form, hey, this is the problem, contact me, give me a phone call, let's say a plumber. You don't want to have as a plumber, let's say I have my pipe is broken. You don't want to be too specific and have, oh, what's your address, phone number, zip code, all these things. They just want a quick form be like, hey, this is my problem. This is my phone number. This is my name. Give me a call. Give me a price. And then respond quickly. Or you might have something to say, schedule a phone call or let's talk. It's just quick little, things that tell me, hey, what do you want me to do when I get to your website? And that's really what call to actions mean. What do you want me when I get to your website to do? Whether it's, hey, this is whatever is the most important thing. Like, let's say if maybe in your case, radio visitors, do I see, where can I go ahead and play your videos or your audio? That should be the most prominent thing when I get to your website, because that's what you're all about. I want to be able to see, hey, where's that button that I click on to go ahead and view all these videos? Yes, it's nice to have all these other things on there and maybe your services or whatever it is, but essentially they're just here to kind of find what they need. And if it takes too long for them to find what they need from that first view, they'll move on. If there's 20,000 buttons at the top of your website or different menus, people get lost. The simple it is, because all of you have all the different services and buttons. People came for honestly one particular thing on your website. You could have 20,000 products and services, different menus, but essentially, if it takes them too long to find what it is, they'll just move on. Even with our website, it's a trial and error type of thing where you have to go ahead and, clean up your website sometimes and remove different things and see what works, what people click on, what people don't click on. If it's stuff that people don't click on, essentially might just be something, better off just removing, because it's not driving traffic, it's confusing people, too many options, less is more. So that's essentially what, the call to action area is. The menu should definitely be up to the top, always at the top. What they have is what they call a sticky menu now too, where it always moves with you. That's something else that's very important these days, that, the navigation is always there. With the older website, you have to scroll back up to the top and back to the top, whereas the new websites, you can either have a button that's always there. You can click and expand the menu, or it's always there at the top. That's something that's definitely with the new website. That's always something there, because people are scrolling around. They want to go ahead and get to the next thing. And, if the menu isn't there, they go around and get sidetracked and go to somewhere else. And you want everything to be as quick as we explained before and as user-friendly as possible. It's really a science these days, as far as, there's different tools you can go ahead and there's heat mapping and there's videos that you can watch the users do different things on the website to see different data analytics. You can track, through Google, you can see which pages are important. And the heat mapping is definitely something that's definitely used very heavily on bigger websites, because you want to go, what heat mapping is, just to elaborate on that, is basically on your particular page, it shows what are the most popular areas that people click on. You might look at your website and people see a certain graphic on your website that they thought they can click on it to go somewhere else. But if they keep clicking on it, that means that maybe that area should be something that's interesting that you want to have as a button, because they thought that this particular image was a link to go to that particular product, but you didn't do that. And that's stuff that the heat mapping can go ahead and help you see, to go ahead and, help that above the fold issue. Because I've seen that on our website where there's certain areas that people click on for whatever reason, but it's not really a link to go anywhere. And I'm assuming that they just think that's a link, and maybe it'll help you get more navigation friendly because they think that particular graphic is somewhere to go.
Yeah, it's definitely all about user experience and making things as easy as possible for them now. Chris, let's talk about some of these local service businesses. We've got the Google My Business, which is extremely prominent above the fold on the search engine results page.
Yes.
How important is, finding yourself on that map pack these days?
As a local business, I think especially the more local businesses like the plumbers and the service industries in particular, it is very important to be in that first three pack. If you can get into double spaces, in the service pack, which is the first three things that show up most of the time. And then also an organic listing, which is the listing that comes right after that. It can definitely dramatically boost your effect, because for one, it's the first thing you see when you go to that industry. And the one thing that stands out, that local pack versus the lower organic industry part, is, for one, you get all your information shown. It shows you where you are on the map, how close you are to me. It shows you the reviews right away. It shows you the phone number right away. You can click on it and you can get an in-depth view of that business before you actually even give them a phone call. Because the one thing people don't realize about online is everything is about reviews these days. Back in the days, you go on a yellow page and you call some random person and you just went ahead and you go and just call them and hope it went well. But now it's about reviews and stuff like that. And that's the one benefit I find heavily about Google My Business, is getting listed in there and definitely trying to rank as high as possible within that service pack. Because, the first three is most likely the one who gets, at least, I don't remember the exact data right now, but I can guarantee you that first three, as long as they have good reviews, they're going to get at least 90% of that business, because they're the first ones. Like, you already have great reviews. I don't have time to waste. I'll go ahead and let's just call the first three people. The first three is a good enough number that, I'll call these three people, see if they're available, see what the prices are, and that is it. And you click on those first three and you can see their reviews right away. You can see whether they have 5 stars, 10 stars, 1 star. If you don't have 5 stars, I mean, unfortunately, it's definitely deterrent if you don't have at least 4 to 5. Some people might go ahead and read the reviews, because I personally think that you can't always judge a business based off of reviews, just because of my own experience and website I've seen. It's just an internal problem that you have to resolve with your business and how you handle reviews. That's a whole different business that people have inside of SEO, is just handling, your on-time reputation management, where businesses, what are your reviews? Do you have 5 star, 4 star, 3 stars? What are actually people saying about your business? Whether it's, service sucks, the product sucks. There's certain things you can fix and there's certain things you just can't fix, within your business. And it's important to look at feedback and help resolve those things. But unfortunately, the problem with reviews a lot of the time is people only want to give you reviews when there's a problem. You can go ahead and beg people, pay them, give them incentives, and it's like they don't want to give you a review until you've screwed up. And I find that's the one problem I hate with reviews, is that it's not a proper judgment of an actual business. And that's why it's important to read the reviews and try and talk with the business owner and see. Some business owners, honestly, they just suck, and that's just nothing you can do about that. But sometimes you had a bad experience where, maybe I've had experience where people you were closed. Oh, this company was closed. I needed their service and they were closed. And I don't find that's fair. You judge me. I was closed. I was on holiday. I was, whatever it is. And you gave me a 1 star because, I was closed that day, or I told you I couldn't do the service, and, you were new in advance and you couldn't get it done. And, they were pissed and left you a bad review. Or you did an amazing review. I got you, placed number 1 in Google, or built an amazing website. You loved it. You send me an email saying you love it, but you can't take the 2 minutes to go ahead and just post it online. And unfortunately, that's one of the bad things. I kind of went off topic of what you were talking about, the GMB, but that's an important part of GMB is reviews. And it's definitely important that you focus on reviews if you're even going to attempt to be in that GMB Google My Business section, is you get reviews, because without those good reviews, or even any reviews, you're going to lose the competition. You could be listed as number 1 in there with 0 reviews, but I can guarantee people are going to click on that one that has the 1 star reviews, or the 5 star reviews, even if they have 1, because somebody went ahead and gave them that incentive that, hey, this person is at least decent one time versus a no review. But back to the GMB again. Sorry to went off topic. Yes, you should definitely want to go ahead and optimize it as much as possible to get ranked. You want to have definitely make sure your address is correct. You want to go ahead and have photos of your businesses. Make sure your phone number is correct. You might think that photo and address is something that should be standard, but most people, they spell it wrong. The address has a suite number, or the suite number is spelled differently, or it has a number sign, and then they put STE or stuff like that. It really varies on everywhere, because Google depends on what they call citations, especially for local rankings. You have what they call citations, which is basically more websites that have your address listed in what they call NAP, which is a name, address, and phone number, all exactly the same. So if you put your phone number on Facebook, Yellow Pages, Yelp, all these things have to be exactly the same, spelled out letter for letter, exactly the same, phone number exactly the same. You don't put 305 period. You don't put, it always has to be the dashes, or if you have a space in between, if you have an 800 number, all those things have to be exactly the same, because they look at all these other websites as signals that this information is correct, and you are the local person to go ahead, make sure you include keywords, photos, anything that go ahead and makes your listing seem like the best option to stand out, from the rest, is how you can go ahead and optimize your GMB listing.
Yeah, and it's become really important, because I think many people now, like you were saying, they go to the GMB listing, they're looking for a phone number, they're checking the 4 to 5 points for the review, and as long as they've got that, they're making the call. They don't even make it to the business website anymore.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
And also, talk to me about the organic listings, because I know in these service-based businesses, it's really hard even just to get on the front page for an organic listing these days with all the directories that are out there.
Yes, that's definitely another reason to try and get into GMB, because certain businesses like Yelp, Foursquare, every niche is different as far as what get listed first. There's certain businesses, especially like the service industries, like let's say if you're a doctor or a dentist, places like Yelp might be the first listing that shows up on there. And that doesn't mean that it's not impossible to outrank them, but it just means that you have more work to do to try and distinguish yourself as an authority, in the industry, to get to pass them, and it's really an investment to really get there, because some businesses, they just really can't afford spending the $1,000, $2,000 or whatever it is, depending, how hard we work on the marketing. So trying to get into the GMB is an option, but space is extremely limited. And as far as the SEO side goes, there's only so much you can do to get ranked in the GMB. It's not as easy to manipulate as the organic listings. So the most important thing with organic is research as far as the keywords. Certain keywords you might think are the most important thing, like you want to just put in dentist. Dentist is really not the best keyword for any business, because if you type in the word dentist, it's going to pull in, depending on how Google runs the search, they'll pull in dentist. They might think you mean dentists over the world. You want to find out what is a dentist. So there's going to be a lot more competition pulling for that individual keyword of dentist. If as a local business, you want to have, dentists, either near me, or dentists, in Doral, which is specifically where you are. You want to be a specific, even where I am, dentists in Miami, is very broad, because Miami means, about, I think there's about, I don't know how many, 8 different cities within Miami, so you're competing against a lot more people, versus you want to try and be as specific to where you are as possible, because that means there's less competition. And for one, people don't really want to travel too far. If you're where I am in Doral, focus on Doral, because if you type in Miami, you'll get results in, let's say, Brickell or Miami Beach, where they're, maybe 15, 20 minutes away, versus, if you're in Doral, you might find a doctor that's a dentist that's, 5 minutes away. I'd rather go 5 minutes away than spend my time going, spending an hour in traffic going further away. So you want to have proper research on your keywords. And for one, too much competition it is, and then try and work on what they call long tail keywords. Even if it's dentists in Miami or Doral, you want to try to make it more long tail, which means you want to add more keywords to it. Not keywords, words to it, and make it a bit broader. Not broader, more specific. So you want to do dentist in Doral for toothache, or rush dentist in Doral, because that means it's less competition, because it's less websites online who are competing to be number one. And that's essentially the way you have to do proper keyword research, is finding out, one, is there even traffic for those keywords? And then, finding one that's it's specific enough that will bring you enough business, because, getting, let's say for a dentist, people might think, 100 searches a month is nothing, but getting 100 new patients over, the next year of your practice, that's huge business, because it's repeat business. It's all about getting recurring customers, and essentially, you have to look at the long-term game, not that you want to have a keyword that has, millions of visits. It'd be great if you're number one, but if you can't get to that number one spot, it's pointless. So you're better off trying to focus on more of a long tail keyword, where it's less competition, that you can actually rank for and be number one and get all the business, versus going after a keyword that's, that it's going to be, you're going to be page number 50. It's really pointless. And you're going to spend a lot more time, a lot more money, trying to boost the rankings to get up, so it really depends on the customers. Some people have the budget to go ahead and let's pound it out. I want to beat this particular customer, and I can afford to spend, $2,000, $10,000 to get to number one. But, the easy win for most smaller businesses is focusing on more terms that have less competition to help you get up to number one.
Right. It's those easy wins that, are still getting customers to your website to have a look, to make that call. Thinking about it like baseball, it's the number of runners on base that you get. It's not necessarily about the home run all the time, which seems to be what many people are looking for. So if somebody is looking for an SEO to do work for them, Chris, how do they reach out to you for some help?
You can find us, most people find us through, just Google us online, web designers or SEO companies in Doral or Miami. You can go to our website, which is www.webdesignplusseo.com. You can reach us on Facebook, email. We're pretty flexible. I mean, you can call us online. We started pushing our YouTube channel now. We're trying to make more informative videos. We're doing webinars, just to get the word out there a lot more. Because it's these days about getting your name out there in as much as possible. We all try to shy away from it sometimes, or we're too busy to do certain things, and you just have to put an effort. Whether you can do it yourself or you hire somebody to do it. It's just things people look for these days, and you might be shy as far as going on videos and stuff like that, but getting your name out there is really what it's all about. Whether it's, I'm sure there's someone in your company who will be willing to do a video. Maybe it's not yourself because you're not you're a shy person. You don't feel you speak very well, but sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone, and that's a big thing that needs to be worked on to help grow your business. Is getting your name out there. And whether it's videos, everybody's on Pinterest these days, or Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. These days, as you mentioned, organic, even YouTube videos are ranking as number one. So whether you put together a dentist video and you show them set up a video, or maybe you're a plumber, you do a quick video on you're doing this repair and how it went well, and this is the problem you had before, and you make a little case study out of it. That's definitely ways you got to try and push yourself out there, because honestly, competition is getting harder, and it's all about standing out. And people do more homework now, and they look up your video on Facebook and profile, and they analyze you to see how serious you are about your business. And and see what do you do and what you don't do compared to competition. I mean, it's not necessarily always a judge of how your business is, because you could be an amazing business, but some people are just so picky these days, and they judge you on, hey, I don't have 20 million YouTube subscribers and stuff like that, but that's just not something I'm focused on. That is not really a complete judgment, but that's just how it is sometimes, and you may lose customers, you may gain some customers, and that's essentially what you just have to do these days.
Yeah, I completely agree. I always say that the number one problem most businesses have is obscurity. If people don't know that you're out there, if they can't find you when they're looking, and there's so many channels now to be found, and what you say is you just have to put yourself out there. You got to do the marketing to get found in order to get the business. Of course, just word of mouth still works really well, but most people are going online now to do these searches to find exactly what it is that they need.
Yeah, even just a quick little, I guess, plug, if you want to say it. We even came up with a new division of the company that kind of helps people more with branding of their business, because a lot of people sometimes they don't have the time to focus on overall branding, and whether it's printing or mailers or the social media or logo design and stuff like that. We created a separate business that focuses on overall branding strategies. So it's like a monthly retainer, and basically will help you from A to Z. Will handle your brochures and stuff like that. That's something that not I don't personally handle that, but it's overall it's like a management service. For those businesses that just struggle overall, I don't know what to do. So we kind of hand walk you through the process, with a monthly retainer, and we'll help you out with overall branding, because sometimes it's more than just websites, it's more than just online marketing. Your business just needs help, because from A to Z, and that's just
right.
How it works.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of strategy behind putting all these pieces together, and that's why you need somebody that really knows what they're doing to take control of that and lead you in the right direction. Well, Chris Rismay, CEO of Web Design Plus SEO.com, thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
All right, thank you.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.